There's a gap in David Hawkins's awakening story. This is not a criticism. His journey is his own. Rather, it's a gap, like a black hole, sitting right between the discipline that he describes and the sudden shift he experienced. And I think my experience fills that gap. This is the final video in my series on Letting Go by David Hawkins, and I want to walk through his story step by step alongside mine, because what's in that gap, I believe, is the path to the deepest healing available to us. Not just peace of mind, but transformation at the level of the tissues and the bones, the kind that leaves physical evidence. Hawkins had an amazing life with incredible experiences. I'm just trying to find the difference between what he did and what I do for my own understanding and for yours. Hawkins starts here. People wonder, how does one reach this state of awareness? But few follow the steps because they are so simple. First, the desire to reach that state was intense. My version of that was an intense desire to find inner peace. My mind had spun out of control for 3 days after a business dispute with 2 other mothers. I couldn't stop it, and I knew that was not normal. It was not okay, and I had to change. So desire was the starting point for both of us. Then Hawkins began his discipline. He describes it like this. Then began the discipline to act with constant and universal forgiveness and gentleness without exception. If I put my path into similar words, I would say, then began the discipline of taking full responsibility for how I feel inside, and feeling and allowing those feelings to release. I would not say that I was trying to be forgiving or gentle. Deciding that you should feel something other than what's actually there, while a charge underneath stays exactly the same, feels like suppression and bypassing to me. For me, forgiveness wasn't something I did. It was something that appeared naturally, effortlessly, after the emotional charge was released. Next, Hawkins says, one has to be compassionate towards everything, including one's own self and thoughts. I would change that too. One has to acknowledge, accept, and release the energy of everything, including one's own self and thoughts. Compassion arises naturally as we accept and release the energy. There is no has to about compassion in my experience. When we allow ourselves to feel what is actually there without resistance, compassion shows up on its own. You don't manufacture it. You get out of its way. Then Hawkins says, next came a willingness to hold desires in abeyance and surrender personal will at every moment. Notice here that he doesn't say surrender desire. He says to hold it in abeyance, to put them on hold. The energy of them is still inside. What I think he means by surrendering personal will is surrendering ego-based will. For example, getting up to eat because you want to push down an uncomfortable feeling would be surrendered. But natural will, getting up to eat because your body needs nourishment, is okay. Ego-based will is the only will that needs surrendering on this path. Hawkins then talks about his mind becoming progressively silent as he surrendered thoughts, feelings, and desires. I experienced this too. As I worked through my stored emotional memories, my mother's death, my father's anger, the boarding school, the house fire, one by one my mind got quieter. The self-critical, judgmental thoughts that had plagued me disappeared. I realized they had been my father's words all along, but I couldn't see that until they were gone. David describes the process as like a rocket ship leaving Earth. Tremendous energy is required at first, and then it moves under its own momentum. I found this too. The more energy I released, the easier it became to release energy. Eventually I realized that I was being led, that the path had its own momentum. And then Hawkins writes, suddenly, without warning, A shift in awareness occurred, and the presence was there. Suddenly. That word is so interesting to me because it feels like there is a gap there, a black hole between the process he was on and the suddenly that my experience fits into. What happened in that gap? I think there are two things that Hawkins didn't do, and I think they're the reason that my path went somewhere that his description didn't seem to go. Did Hawkins go back through his past, memory by memory, and surrender to the emotions stored there? He doesn't say that he did. I did that. I wrote down every emotional memory I could find, not just the big traumas, but the humiliations, the embarrassments, the resentments, the things I had never let go of. Multiple pages, and I worked through them one at a time for an hour to an hour and a half every night until each one released. That's not the same as surrendering your thoughts and emotions in day-to-day life, although that's important too. That's going back deliberately and allowing the stored charge in each memory to be felt and released. I think that matters. I think that's part of what fills that gap. The second difference is more subtle, but I think it may be even more important. When Hawkins describes surrender, he surrenders to it. The tension, the thought, the feeling. He lets it go. What I learned to do was different. I would notice a feeling, say a fear of making a phone call. I would find where that feeling lives in my body. For me, fear is generally in the solar plexus. And then I would hold myself like a statue. Not move a muscle, not take a breath. I would stay right there with that sensation and talk to it in my mind. I can feel you. It's safe to be felt. It's okay. I call this holding the tension at tension. It's not surrendering away from it. It's moving towards it and staying there, keeping your awareness right on it until it releases itself. I am not releasing it. I am giving it attention and allowing it to release when it is ready. That distinction may sound small, but I don't believe it is. It was through learning to hold attention at tension that I eventually learned how to put my awareness inside my body, into my tissues, my bones, my skull. And that opened up a whole other dimension of healing that I don't believe surrender gets you to. I believe that doing these two things, going back through your past and holding tension at tension, allows Kundalini to rise. That was my experience. After years of this work, Kundalini energy started up. It burned through my body for weeks, releasing layers of tension that I couldn't have reached on my own. And when it subsided, I could put my awareness inside my body. I could sense where tension lived, first in my connective tissue, then in my bones. I could find it, focus on it like a laser beam, and allow it to release. I've grown 3/4 of an inch taller in my 50s from doing this work. My skull bones have changed shape. I have x-rays that show that. I literally hear adhesions in my connective tissue release that sounds like old fabric ripping. And after Kundalini, a cross formed in the tissues between my eyebrows. I've never heard of anyone else experiencing that. I think it's what Jesus was talking to when he said to pick up your cross and follow me. I don't believe he was talking about an external physical object, but something that forms in your flesh when you go deep enough, when you follow yourself, your thoughts, your emotions, your sensations. I don't know what the cross means exactly, but I do think it's evidence that this path goes somewhere real, somewhere physical, somewhere most spiritual teachings don't describe. I honestly don't know exactly what Hawkins did or didn't do. His story is his own. But when I read that word suddenly, I felt the gap. And my best answer to filling that gap after everything I've been through is this. Go back through your past. Don't just surrender in the present moment. Return to the stored memories and allow the emotions there to release. And when you find tension, hold it at tension. Stay with it. Don't just surrender away from it. Move towards it and keep your awareness right there until it lets go. Yes, it makes the path longer. There is a whole other dimension of tension to release at the level of the tissues and bones that you're probably not aware of yet. But I believe it produces a deeper level of healing, and that is the step that I think is missing. This series began with a simple technique. Allow a feeling to be felt. Don't resist it, don't suppress it, just allow it. From that simple beginning, we've moved through thoughts, stress, emotions, manifestation, healing, spiritual awakening, and consciousness itself. Whatever your path looks like, whether it resembles Hawkins's, mine, or something else entirely, I believe letting go points towards something true. The less we resist our inner experience, the freer we become. Thank you for being with me for all 10 of these videos. I would love to hear from you in the comments. What has been the biggest insight that you've taken away from this series?